The sheriff found my father's old truck abandoned outside town, and when he called me to identify it, I nearly dropped the phone. My father had been dead for 17 years. At least, that was what my family had always told me. I drove to the sheriff's office that night, still trying to convince myself there had to be another explanation. But the license plate was unmistakable. It was my father's truck. The driver's door was unlocked, and inside the glove compartment, the sheriff found an old photograph, a motel key, and a folded piece of paper with my name written on it. Before I opened it, the sheriff said, "You need to sit down." The note contained only one sentence. "If you're reading this, your mother lied about me." My hands started shaking. My mother had told me my father died in a highway accident when I was a child. I had spent 17 years believing it. Now I was staring at proof that he might have been alive. If you like emotional family stories where hidden secrets finally come to light, stay with me and subscribe to Family Betrayal. And remember, the faces, photographs, backgrounds, and scenes shown in this video are only visual recreations for storytelling. The sheriff then showed me another clue found beneath the driver's seat. It was an old newspaper clipping dated 3 years after my father's supposed death. His photograph was right there. The article said he had helped expose financial fraud involving several local businesses. I couldn't understand it. If he was alive, why had he never come home? That night, I couldn't sleep. Then the sheriff called again. They had discovered where the truck had been before it was abandoned. An old farmhouse outside town. And there was something inside that farmhouse with my name on it. The next morning, I drove to the farmhouse with the sheriff. The place had been empty for years, but inside one dusty room, we found a metal box hidden beneath the floorboards. My name was written across the top in my father's handwriting. I opened it with trembling hands. Inside were photographs of me. My first day of school. My 10th birthday. My high school graduation. My father had been watching me all those years. There were also letters he had written but never sent. One said, "I wanted to come home, but they told me you would be in danger if I did." I sat on the floor and cried. All those years I had thought my father had forgotten me. The truth was somehow worse. He had been close enough to see my life, but too afraid to enter it. Then I found a small recording device. The file was dated only 6 months earlier. I pressed play. My father's voice filled the room. "Son, if you're hearing this, I failed to protect you." I froze. He explained that years ago, he had discovered someone in our family was stealing money from the family business. When he threatened to expose the truth, that person tried to silence him. My father survived an attack, but realized staying near me could put my life at risk. Then came the part that destroyed everything I believed. He said my mother knew he was alive. I couldn't breathe. My mother had cried with me at his funeral. She had told me she wished he could have seen the man I became. But she had known. I drove straight to her house. When she saw the recording in my hand, she didn't deny it. She only whispered, "I was trying to protect you." Then she told me something even worse. My father came back 6 months ago. I stared at her. "Where is he now?" She began to cry. "I don't know." Then my phone rang. It was the sheriff. They had found blood inside my father's truck. And it wasn't my father's blood. The sheriff told me the blood belonged to my uncle Daniel. Daniel was my father's younger brother. He had always been the person I trusted most after my mother. He attended every birthday, every graduation, and every family gathering. When I was young, he used to tell me how proud my father would have been. Now I couldn't stop thinking about those words. The sheriff found Daniel hiding at a motel outside town. In his room were financial records proving he had stolen money from our family business for years. But there was something else. Photographs of my father. And photographs of me. Daniel had been watching us. He admitted that my father had discovered his theft years ago. When my father threatened to report him, Daniel tried to scare him into silence. After that, my father disappeared because he believed Daniel might eventually come after me. My mother knew. She had agreed to keep the truth from me because she was terrified Daniel would hurt me. But 17 years passed. My father kept trying to return, and my mother kept believing the lie was safer than the truth. I was furious with both of them. Part of me wanted to forgive my mother because she thought she was protecting me. Another part of me couldn't understand how she could watch me grow up believing my father was dead. Then the sheriff found one final clue. A motel receipt. It showed that my father had stayed less than 10 miles from my house only days before the truck was discovered. He had been close. Very close. The sheriff looked at me and said, "If he left that truck behind, he may still be somewhere nearby." For the first time in 17 years, I had hope. But I was terrified too. Because if my father was still alive, I had no idea what condition I would find him in. That evening, someone knocked on my front door. I opened it, and the man standing there made my heart stop. It was my father. His hair was gray. His face was thinner, but his eyes were exactly the same. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Then he whispered, "I'm sorry I missed your life." I couldn't hold myself together. I had imagined meeting my father again for 17 years, but I never imagined it would feel so painful. He explained that he had returned because he was finally tired of running. Daniel had found him and tried to stop him from turning over the evidence. They fought near the truck, and Daniel was injured. My father escaped before police arrived. He had left the truck behind because he knew someone would eventually find it. He wanted the truth to reach me. I asked him the question I had carried my entire life. "Why didn't you come home?" He looked down. "Because every time I thought about coming back, I imagined something happening to you." I understood his fear, but I couldn't pretend those 17 years didn't matter. We couldn't recover the childhood birthdays he missed. He couldn't suddenly become the father I remembered, but we could start again. Slowly, one conversation at a time. My mother eventually admitted everything, and Daniel faced the consequences of his actions. As for me, I stopped trying to decide which person had hurt me the most. I realized that everyone had made choices based on fear, and every choice had left a scar. If you were in my place, would you forgive your mother after discovering she had hidden your living father from you for 17 years? Or would you walk away and start a new life without her? Tell me what you would have done in the comments. Share this story with someone in your family who believes every secret should stay buried. And subscribe to Family Betrayal for more emotional stories. Because sometimes the person you spend your whole life mourning isn't gone at all. Sometimes the real heartbreak is discovering they were waiting for you to find them.